Welcome to the Explainer. Let me ask you something. Does your company's IT department feel like a total black box? Are you sick of pouring money into new software, but you have no idea if it's actually making a difference? Well, if that sounds even a little bit familiar, you're in the right place. Today we're going to show you how to wrangle that tech landscape, take back control, and make sure your technology is actually working for you.
All right, let's just dive right in. I want you to think about this for a second, because it's a question that keeps a lot of leaders up at night. Does it ever feel like for every one problem you solve, 3 new apps just appear out of nowhere? If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are not alone. You know, if this list on the screen looks like a page out of your work diary, then you are dealing with something called application sprawl. It's what happens when your portfolio turns into this messy, expensive jungle of apps that do the same thing with costs hiding in every corner. These are systems that are literally holding your business back. So the big question is, where do you even start to clean this up?
Well, the answer is not to just start cutting things randomly. That can create even bigger headaches. What you need is a map. And that is exactly what the application catalog framework is. Think of it as your guide, a really structured, common-sense way to bring order to all that chaos. And finally, get your tech spending lined up with your business goals.
So what is this thing really? At its heart, it's a master inventory of all your software. But it's so much more than a list. With a good application catalog, you can see, at a glance, what every application does, who's using it, what it's costing you, and, most importantly, if it's even still doing its job. It's the absolute foundation for making smart decisions with your data. Now, here's what makes this approach so powerful. You're not just looking at one thing, like how much an app costs. You're getting this complete 360-degree view. You're asking, how critical is it? Does it fit our business goals? How's the technical side looking? What's the real total cost? When does support end? And based on all that, what should we do with it? Invest, maintain, or get rid of it? It's this multifaceted view that turns a messy pile of data into real strategic insight. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Oh, absolutely. Now that we have the basics down, let's see what happens when we apply this framework to the super complex, highly regulated world of banking. So let's meet Sarah. She is an enterprise architect at a bank, and she is dealing with a classic case of application overload. The bank has way too many systems, tons of overlap in what they do, and leadership has almost no idea where they should be investing for the future. Sound familiar to anyone? And this slide right here shows the transformation perfectly. On the left, you've got the chaos Sarah was facing every day, confusion, high costs, and a lot of indecision. But on the right, you see the clarity and control that the framework brings. Suddenly, Sarah can see exactly which apps are vital and which ones are just dead weight. The guesswork is gone. So, what did this actually produce for Sarah's bank? Well, it wasn't just a bunch of spreadsheets. They got 4 incredibly valuable things: a full-on catalog of everything they owned, solid recommendations for the next 3 years, reports that put a spotlight on wasteful apps, and a clear roadmap to start saving money. These are real results that make an immediate difference. Okay, so it works for banking. But what about a totally different industry? Let's switch gears from finance and jump into the fast-moving, customer-obsessed world of retail and see if the same framework can stand up to the challenge. This is Tom Sunson. He's an IT portfolio manager for a huge retail company, and his problem is a little different. It's not just about having too many apps, it's about having the wrong apps. He's fighting with these old, creaky legacy systems that just can't talk to modern e-commerce platforms, and it's slowing the whole business down. And here we go again. The framework brings that instant clarity. It helps Thompson zero in on which systems are critical and worth modernizing versus which ones are just anchors holding them back. Just look at the comparison here. On the left, you have these legacy systems acting like a ball and chain. On the right, you have a clear path forward to the modern tools that will actually help the business compete. For Thompson's retail chain, the outcomes were really focused on their specific pain points. The big things were managing the risk from outdated software and creating that roadmap for modernization. So as you can see, they got an updated portfolio, a clear risk assessment, a plan to consolidate, and specific recommendations on what to do next. All right, we've seen this framework in action in 2 very different businesses. So let's get to the bottom line. After all the cataloging and the analysis is done, what's the real payoff? How does cleaning up your app portfolio actually translate into tangible business value? And this is maybe the most important takeaway of all. This isn't just an IT cleanup project. It is a strategic business move. It leads directly to real benefits. You slash costs, you make smarter decisions, you get rid of technical debt, you lower your risk of outages, and, this is the big one, you increase your agility by freeing up money to actually innovate and grow.
And that brings us to our final thought. A framework like this gives you the map. It gives you the methodology. But to really make it happen at scale, you need a platform, a tool to manage all the data, to help your teams collaborate, and to visualize the insights. A system like Vistalin.com is built from the ground up to do exactly that, turning a brilliant strategy into a reality you can execute on. So the real question is, are you ready to draw your map,